Now, I'll briefly try to recap some of the movie casts that James and the rest of the surviving Magnificent Seven cast would have crossed paths with around this time. They came from both ends of the street. Initially, there was the How the West Was Won cast, who were coming through from the direction that Mr. Coburn was heading through. From the opposite side, the end near the bridge and the stage, we had the welcome approach of majority cast and several props of Cocoon 1 and 2. Somewhere just after that was Bronco Billy, closely followed by the start of Winchester 57, part of a very exclusive Jimmy Stewart attendance, with alongside many of the surviving cast of The Greatest Show on Earth, which was closely followed then by the Alamo cast, cast members. So you can imagine it was quite a busy phase. That I mean, that's just the first sort of 25 minutes after he'd departed. So you can imagine there was a hell of a lot going on, which is why losing track of various stars in the melee centrally was quite easy to do. Now, when he returned and he was waiting by the Bear Gardens corner, I managed to get closer. I had about 3.5 meters of distance left along the walkway to reach him. And before anyone accuses me of stalking here, this was part, initially one, of an unarranged public street party. Mr. Coburn had only been asked to visit. I don't know what sort of arrangements he had. I myself was in a high-vis garment, and basically as a requested assistant steward for the Friends of the Globe, who had given me specific instructions to stay aware of any VIPs and ensure that they were both given a protective flanking to ensure they weren't overly bothered by any overzealous fans, and take steps when necessary to ensure safe progress whilst in range of the Rose Theatre dig site. Several pausing groups of fans and tourists were still between us at that moment when he'd returned, and to make my route as smooth, nonchalant as possible, I needed to stay aware of things around me, so I was using some Tai Chi stepping, ensuring I could switch attention visually from the cabin ahead left, the bridge underpass beyond far left, the stage ahead with its present crowd, and across the central street where more of the movie cast and TV show stars were mingling yet again. I managed to look back at the telegraph pole, and once more James had turned away again. But this time there was the possibility of him returning looking good. So I switched the attention back to the current cast visiting. I believe at that moment that was the vehicles of the magnificent men in their flying machines, the approach from behind the offices of the first Men in the Moon cast and props. They were dodging the counterflow from the bridge of approaching casts of the Bit of a Do and Birds of a Feather, who were due to appear on stage.